from his family.
Yes, was out on the field pretty much the whole entire first half.
We've got a lot of great games. I'm highlighting 2 SEC games.
What's up, everybody? Christian Ballard, sports journalist here at Ballard Sports Media. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate you guys tuning in today. Sorry we're a little bit late, but Mayhem got caught up in WWE stuff and said, hold on, let me watch this real quick. Hold on, let me watch this real quick. And over and over and over again. Anyway, no, I'm not mad. I'm happy. Anyway, what's up, Mayhem?
Listen to me. Listen to me.
What you tell the people what you saw.
Okay. Number one, for the WWE fans out there, if you've been watching WWE as long as I have, I've been watching WWE for almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Can you actually believe that? That is crazy. That's crazy that I can actually say that. I've been watching ever since 2008. In 2028 will be my 20th year watching it.
Yeah.
It's 2025. So in 3 more years will be 20 years. So 17 long years I've been watching WWE pretty much week in and week out, and I've been in the trenches even whenever WWE was at its worst. This right here, what we just saw, CM Punk, John Cena are going to be facing off at Night of Champions here in a couple weeks. And honestly, that was I have to go back and watch it because I was talking about the show with Ballard, and then I just happened to look up at my screen and saw the greatest thing on SmackDown that's happened in a little hot minute. So if you look, I can spend 2 hours talking about this. I'm not going to do that because the audience that Christian Ballard of Ballard Sports Media draws really don't care about WWE. So I'm not going to bore you with what I'm interested in, but I will say this. If you love WWE and you know what happened 14 years ago with CM Punk and the pipe bomb and John Cena and R-Truth and all that jazz, if you know what happened, if you know, 14 years later, the roles were reversed. Cena dropped the pipe bomb on CM Punk this time, and R-Truth was still involved. This was absolute cinema, as people call it, absolute cinema. And they called back to a time where I was a child watching, and I was entertained, and I was a huge Punk fan. I was a huge fan of that storyline, and they brought it back, and they made me right now in the moment. They made me feel like I was 12 and 13 years old again. I felt like a kid. I just felt like I had a flashback of me watching in my room, and and my mom telling me I have to go to bed because it's a school night. I just remember watching it, and it was absolute cinema, and I had to watch it. John Cena's on his last retirement tour. I'm going to talk about college football. And after I get out, after I do this, I will be making sure to rewatch that program because that was incredible. That main event was absolutely incredible. Normally, SmackDown recently hasn't been that good, but man, that main event was friggin' awesome.
Yep. We're working our way up there. I think we're at 1,300 right now, man. I think we're working our way up.
So this the first topic we're going to be talking about today, Ballard. You know, I told you John Cena is on his retirement tour.
Yep.
Guess who else is retiring? Lee Corso signs off as College Game Day's analyst in week 1 of College Game Day. Lee Corso will retire from ESPN's College Game Day in August, ending a career with the show that began in 1987. I am getting my source from ESPN. I quote, "My family and I will be forever indebted for the opportunity to be a part of ESPN and College Game Day for nearly 40 years," Corso said in a statement released by ESPN. He also said, "I have a treasure of many friends, fond memories, and some unusual experiences to take with me into retirement," end quote. Corso turns 90 years old August 7th, is widely known for his headgear picks and "not so fast, my friend" retort whenever he disagreed with someone on the panel. The headgear segment, which started in 1996 October in a game at Ohio State, has seen Corso go 286, 144 in his 430 selections. So he's done pretty well, I guess. So it will also lead his last final broadcast will be August 30th. With the game, it is the College Game Day that will be the Ohio State game. So Ohio State, who did they play that game?
Texas.
So it'll be the Ohio State Texas game will be his last college football game day. So shouts out to Lee Corso. I feel like he should have probably hung it up maybe a few years ago, but I am glad that he is able to have an official retirement, and I'm glad that they're not going to keep on peeing on our leg and telling us it's raining on Lee Corso, because we've seen him not look like Lee Corso in the past few years. He's looked tired. He's looked like he's not really there, and some of the stuff he says, it just feels like maybe he's losing his mind. I'm not sure. I don't want to say that if it's not true, but some of the comments and things that he talks about, is a little bit off topic and stuff like that. You can tell that he's getting old, Ballard.
Yeah, you can. It's crazy. Like you said, like we kept thinking it was going to be the year last year, the year before, and maybe even the year before that in 2022. But it seems like it's the end of an era. What I want to know is I want to get your thoughts on this and everyone else in the comments. I don't think the headgear should go to anybody else. I think that is Corso's main thing. But is it possible, Mayhem, that when they pick the game of the week on location going forward, because Nick Saban is there, should he do something like that's unique to him and let him be the head ball coach making the shots at the end of the show? Like, I'm thinking he needs to get out like a jersey or something, you know? I think that would be cool.
I'm gonna be honest. I think last year we saw a glimpse of what it would be like without Lee Corso.
Yeah, because he only made there were some shows he didn't make at all, right? Like, didn't he only do a certain amount of headgear picks?
Yeah, so whatever that looked like, I think that's exactly what is going to be College Game Day moving forward.
Yeah,
I don't foresee someone, you know, doing the headgear I mean, they might have um different segments where maybe look, if I had the choice, I would I would say one week Pat McAfee does the headgear, next week Nick Saban does the headgear, next week you know Kirk Herbstreit does the headgear. I would probably do headgear. I would probably keep the tradition of headgear, but I wouldn't give it
I don't.
specifically.
That's the thing, though. Like, I understand trying to keep the tradition, but it was specifically for Lee Corso. That's the thing I would say. It wouldn't, to me personally, my opinion, it would not look or feel the same as when Coach did it.
Well, I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, but also maybe the celebrity guest picker can start doing. I think that
I could see that. Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean, you have to honor
that's
him
pretty
in
obvious.
some. I think you need to honor him in some way. I don't think one per. I don't now. I will agree with you that if they only give it to one person, I
Mhm.
would feel like that would be a slap in the face to Lee Corso. Like, oh, you're just going to give it to somebody else to do it. But I do believe that traditions in college football go on forever. I mean, somebody had to start something. The like for example, let's take Alabama for example. You're an Alabama fan. You know,
Yeah,
they the Dixieland Delight song.
yeah,
It had to start somewhere,
it did.
and
It also
that
got suspended for a while, but yeah,
well, I mean, they still do it, but
they do now. Yeah,
but
but it was
like,
gone for like 2 years.
but what I'm trying to say is traditions go on forever. These traditions in college football, I'm sure we could talk about that next time we do the touchdown show, but we can talk about some traditions. Auburn has the eagle.
Mhm.
I got
And
to
the
what
trees and,
I got,
Clemson's got the running of the hill.
but somebody had to start that, Ballard.
True.
And once that person either died or that person retired or something like that, whatever happened to them people, they didn't just stop it. And I think that my opinion on this is very simple. I do not think they should just give it to another person for them to do it forever. I think this should be a group tradition that, like I said, maybe Kirk Herbstreit does it first since he was, closest friend to Lee Corso that's on the panel. Maybe Desmond Howard does it next. Pat McAfee might do it one time, and maybe like I said before, maybe you just make the headgear pick a part of the celebrity guest pick. Maybe, right? Or maybe you get a fan to do it. Maybe you get a fan to do the headgear. Never know. Maybe you know maybe um I mean you could get different people each week. It don't have to be just one person, right? Because not I don't think one person on the panel wants to do it each and every week because they would probably feel like they're taking the spot of coach, and we all know that you can't do that, right?
Right.
So I feel like making it a tradition, giving the tradition to the fans or to the celebrities, or letting the panel do it. You know, Nick Saban, Desmond Howard, Pat McAfee, Kirk Herbstreit, maybe take turns doing it. I don't think you should just give it to one individual person per se. That's my thoughts on it.
I could see what you're saying, but it just, I don't know, mixing it up like that every week's got to be weird.
I
I
mean,
think so.
I mean, who would you give it to? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. This might be controversial. If you are going to give it to only one person to continue the tradition, you got to give it to Pat McAfee.
Why Pat McAfee?
Well, whenever I look at the panel, Desmond Howard, I feel Desmond Howard. He's a former player, Michigan football player, former Heisman winner. You have Nick Saban. He's a former head coach, just like Lee Corso, but I feel like Nick Saban wouldn't want to follow in the footsteps of Lee Corso being, coach and stuff like that. I don't think that it would probably set well with him. Kirk Herbstreit, I think, is a really good option, but a lot of controversy around him. I think he may not be pretty good with that. I'm drawing a blank. The voice of College Game Day. What's his freaking name?
Reese.
Reese Davis.
Yeah.
I don't know why I drew a blank there for a second, but Reese Davis, he's more professional. He's like the guy that he's not going to put on headgear. It would mess up his hair. I mean, I just I don't know what else to tell you. Reese Davis is out, and Desmond Howard's out. The only two great options is Pat McAfee and Kirk Herbstreit. When I look at Kirk Herbstreit, he has already built his tradition in college football game day. When I look at Pat McAfee, why Pat McAfee was your question? I'll give you my answer. Pat McAfee is the Pat McAfee doing the headgear. He's young. He's innovative. He is creative. He is a very big part of College Game Day now. He's done so much for College Game Day just in a few years, especially with the field goal tries, and given millions and millions of dollars to people. He's done so much just in a few short years, and he's like the biggest superstar on game day right now. And whenever I look at the rest of the panel, they're all kind of older guys. Like Reese Davis is way too professional. There's no way I would never be able to see Reese Davis put on headgear. I would feel like it would mess his hair up or something, and I don't know. He's way too professional. All right, so Reese Davis is pretty much like Mark Rogers.
Yeah.
Okay, you got Desmond Howard. He's kind of like your Ballard Sports Medias of the world. He ain't gonna put on that. He's not gonna put on a headgear. I'll say that. Let me think. Trying to think. Kirk Herbstreit. He's kind of like your Pigskin Pete's of the world. And you got Pat McAfee, which is kind of like your Uncle Lou's of the world. Your crazy, energetic, hyper guys that generate buzz, generate a lot of conversation, does a lot for the community. And I think Pat McAfee, whenever you look at his brand, when you look at how much of a superstar he is, how much he's done in a few short years for College Game Day and college football in general, he was more of an NFL guy. He turned into college football, and honestly, whenever we looked at College Game Day before Pat McAfee got on there, we were looking at Coach Lee Corso gradually get more older and more. You can tell that he was getting older, and the show started going down. The viewership started going down. Everything started going down, and then you bring Pat McAfee in, and he instantly makes you want to watch it again. That's my answer.
Because he's entertaining.
Of course, I mean,
Yeah.
he
And
would.
now here's the thing. Like, is that what you need today, though? Like, entertainment? Like, I mean, because a lot of people are saying I don't know, man. Honestly, like, I do like McAfee's show. I do watch it. I don't know. Something about ESPN and him just doesn't. I grew up watching it, and it was like, um, how do I put this? It was just very outgoing and professional, but it didn't bore me, you know? And I don't know what it is about McAfee. Maybe he just overdoes it, and that's just my opinion, and you can hate me for it, but I don't know, man. Like, I know you're a big McAfee fan. I'm not trying to like crap on your jokes and your sense of humor and your take here. I mean, you're not. It's not a bad idea. It's just I don't know. I feel like it should be either a veteran coach on the show like Saban, or it should be a veteran analyst on game day like
Okay,
Herbie.
okay, so I'm okay with Herbie doing it, but here's the
Right?
thing: Nick Saban's not a young sprung chicken.
That's true. And he
So
might
okay,
only be on the show for maybe 5 years, give or take.
so so let's just say, and I hope this doesn't happen. Please, I hope this does not happen. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, right? Let's just say he does take over headgear, and then he passes away after one season or half a season.
What? Like, after this year?
Bro, he's over 70 years old.
He don't look like it.
Nick Saban.
He don't look like it. I know he is. I'm just saying he don't look like it. I know he's staying in shape a little bit, man. I mean, 2 oatmeal cream pies every day, let's go. Come on.
I mean, there's a reason why the ongoing joke. There's a reason why the ongoing joke is, the retirement home deal, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason for that. But like, like I said, I hope that doesn't happen. I want to be clear on that. I hope none of that happens. I'm just saying that you need a young, spring chicken to get in there and generate buzz. Okay, Ballard, I know you don't like Pat McAfee. Fine.
I never said I didn't like him. I love his show, and I sometimes I do like him on College Game Day. It's just the fact of I don't know, he's kinda changed up the business a bit, and it kinda messes with my head because you know me, I'm trying to work in this business, but where I'm working right now and stuff, I gotta be professional, but at the same time, I wanna hit ESPN, so do I go to the entertainment route too? Like, how do I do this? So I got questions because they took Pat McAfee and put his ass on there, you know?
I feel like literally television, if you're trying to get on television, this is just
Right.
my thoughts. Anything that deals with television is entertainment.
That's
I
true. Even the
all
news
all of it is
in
scripted.
ways.
All of it scripted.
Right. Even the news.
Whenever you see any reporter on television, ESPN football, college football, they're reading from a teleprompter.
Of course.
You know, one thing that makes Pat McAfee is that he started his show on YouTube like we are doing.
Yeah.
And I know that he had a lot of money before that because he was in the NFL. I get it. But he started on YouTube. He still does YouTube, by the way. He grew his fan base, got a million subscribers or whatever on YouTube, moved to ESPN and YouTube, and now he's, you know, all over with Hulu and all that stuff. But he's also had his big night at
Yeah.
thing that he did, and he gave millions and millions of dollars to lots of fans, and had Jelly Roll there and a whole lot of other people there. But
I do love some Jelly Roll. Yeah.
but
Heck yeah.
you know, Pat McAfee has his hand in a lot of cookie jars, and I just feel like that Pat McAfee is the new up and coming. You know, he's already famous and he's already like millionaire, but like he is the foreseeable future in sports entertainment. So, if, in my opinion, if I were trying to get, which I'm not trying to get, but I'm just saying, if I were to try to get to ESPN, or if I were to try to become a a big time in the world of sports reporting and stuff like that, there's no way that I'm going to be a Reese Davis. I'm going to be a Pat McAfee, because yes, it's always good to have guys like Reese Davis that are serious and that kind of even out the uh, the comedy. You got to have at least a little bit of serious, right?
You do.
But I feel like Pat McAfee brings a sense of seriousness and comedy, and he puts it together and generates this one big television show. And my thing is, you take Pat McAfee out of College Game Day after Lee Corso's gone. Who's watching that?
I got tradition to watch it, but I know everyone else is probably gonna it's gonna drop in viewership. I know that.
Without Pat McAfee, who's really watching that? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you want a tradition. Yeah, it's a tradition to wake up Saturday morning and turn it on. But, dude, that's like a 3-hour show. Without Lee Corso, without Pat McAfee, without the field goal kicks, without the entertainment, what are you
Then
watching?
it's just and I'm not here to crap on like the segments they do of the heartwarming stories, but is that part really entertainment? You know, it's just very informative. It is enlightening and uplifting, but I kind of do see your point here, Mayhem. I mean, you take McAfee and company out of the equation, and it's like, whatever, right?
So, for example, American Idol.
Uh-huh.
I know this ain't football, but I'm just trying to give you an example. American Idol had Simon Cowell, or whatever his name is.
Yes.
Everybody loved American Idol because of him. It was because of him and him being so harsh on these singers, saying that they can't sing, they're trash, they're dookie, get out of here, right? And whenever he left American Idol and went somewhere else, let's just be honest, Ballard, who watches American Idol anymore?
I don't. I mean, I love the singers and stuff, but I could see where it kind of went downhill when they started getting all these country acts to be judges. What's up, Rec Talk? Shout out to the chat. Rec Talk and Coach Snoop showing up so far. Love you guys. But I see what you're saying.
So Lee Corso, without guys like Pat McAfee and stuff like that, game day they need a guy like Pat McAfee. They need a guy like a Lee Corso to have a pretty good show. Now, I'm not saying that the others aren't entertaining. They probably are, and Reese Davis is one of the best of all time college football reporters, and he does a very good job of being professional and stuff like that. But like the viral video of Lank whenever he was reporting on Lank.
Oh yeah. Where Reese Davis said, "Let a naysayer know," and he goes, "That is not what I thought it meant."
But that would
We
have
know what he
never.
was thinking too. We know what you're thinking, McAfee. You dirty-minded. Anyway,
But the thing is, Ballard. The whole thing is that would have never went viral. That would have never
right.
went viral without Pat McAfee. That is a viral clip that generated a lot of buzz, a lot of
Anybody,
conversation.
I see what you're saying though, because like it's not like you could have got a guy off the street to do it, and it probably would have still gotten some good viewers, but it wouldn't have gotten as many as a guy as entertaining as McAfee saying what he said.
Exactly. So that's
Right.
that's all that's all I'm trying to say. I mean, I'm not trying to say that Pat McAfee is the best of all time. I'm not saying that, but he is the future of this business, and
Right.
he is the present day of this business, and he's also the future of this business. And guys like him will be more successful than guys of the past, like unfortunately like the Reese Davises of the world. But yeah, I'm glad Lee Corso is able to do his one last hoorah, where it all started. They're going to do the Ohio State, Texas, and that'll be the very last location for Lee Corso's final show. So, with that being said, let's switch gears here
Mhm.
and let's talk about some way too early. Yes, we know it's way too early, but the season is creeping along. It's a couple more months away. We'll be right in college football, um, and we'll be watching it week to week and um, giving our reactions and stuff. So right before the season starts, we do want to give our way too early preseason Heisman picks. What's your thoughts? Give me yours, and
Ooh. I'm gonna be
give some good details.
um so I don't know, man. I There's a lot of teams I like this year. And I think you have to start out with teams that they don't have to necessarily be like the go-to national title favorite or a playoff team or anything like that. They just got to have that one star player, right? I think that's I think that's fair to say. Um Man, did you actually take note and write something down for this? Because I haven't really thought much of it other than just thinking of players out there. I think the obvious choice for favorite would be probably Ryan Williams in Alabama, at least in my opinion. I think you also have to look at Arch Manning of Texas. You I don't know who's Georgia got out there, man. Who you guys got that could make a case?
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's
Don't say
nobody on.
nobody.
There's nobody on.
No,
No,
there's gotta be someone on defense.
there's nobody that's gonna win the Heisman at Georgia. I'm a Georgia
Okay.
fan. I would love to come on here and give you a ton of names that might win. There's zero. There's only one person that's going to win the Heisman this upcoming season. There's only one right answer.
Okay.
So, do you have a guess?
Mm, is it Arch Manning?
Nope. I have the
There's
script.
not one right answer.
There is. There's only one.
So it's an obvious choice this year. Lenora Sellers. I don't know. Like, tell me. Come on. Give me something.
It's right there on your on your screen.
Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State.
There you go.
Yeah. Why that slipped my mind, I'm a dummy, but I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at the odds for this year from ESPN Bet. I want to share screen this and this is why I say that I don't think it's obvious. Now I know it's preseason odds and stuff. It should be Jeremiah Smith as the front runner. They actually don't have him as the front runner. They got Arch Manning, but I do. They have him fourth. They got Arch, they got Nussbus, they got Klubnik, they got Smith, and to round out the top five, Drew Aller. I think any one of those guys is going to get it. I could agree. And I didn't think about Jeremiah Smith. I kind of went brain dead for a second, so I apologize. I could fully agree that he probably should be the obvious bet. It's not so obvious right now because we haven't played this year, but he is good and he is probably the best. Well, I know he's the best returning wide receiver based on last year. So, um, but yeah, I mean, look, there's going to be a lot of great talent out there. What's up, Yoda and Jerry? Um, I don't
I
know
would.
who. Let me ask you this. Let's switch gears here. We're still talking Heisman. What about sleeper players out there in your book that they could even be on this list, but way down at the bottom? They could probably not be listed or talked about at all. What's your thoughts on that, man? Like, who would you throw in the pile?
Wait, the guy all the way at the bottom of that list, Sam Levitt.
Sam Levitt on this side here,
Yeah, on that side.
Arizona State.
That would probably
Yeah,
that would be a guy that I look at and I say, like, if I had to, do like one that's way far off that probably don't have a chance of winning, but I could see them, or Jeremiah Love, I could see that, but one of them two guys, I don't really see anybody else really being a contender. Um, I think Lenora Sellers is way too high on this particular list here. DJ Lagway is another one that's way too high on this list. DJ Lagway and Lenora
dude,
Sellers.
this is Well, no. Okay. I would say this. I would put Sellers above Lagway, but I also agree that both of them are too high. I would probably put Sam Levitt of Arizona State. I'd put John Mateer ahead of those two right now. I'd probably even put Carson Beck ahead of them.
I'd put
I'd
Carson.
probably put
I would put Carson Beck above DJ Lagway and Lenora Sellers. I'd put John Mateer, as you said, above DJ Lagway and Lenora Sellers. I'd even put Ryan Williams ahead of DJ Lagway and Lenora Sellers. I'd put Jeremiah Love ahead of them. There's a lot of names I would put. Avery Johnson. Look, Avery Johnson. I wouldn't even have him on this list. I mean, people like Avery Johnson. He did all right. I think he was like he led the Big 12 in passing yards or something. I don't know. Either he was first or second in passing yards in the Big 12. But I mean, to me, I'm not really high on Avery Johnson. Plus 5,000. That's about right, I guess. But my favorites are Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver Garrett Nussmeier. If a quarterback were to win, it's going to be Garrett Nussmeier, in my opinion.
yeah.
I believe Garrett.
I think they got it right with okay, well, I don't know. I like Nuss and I like Manning. I do like Klubnik, but let me ask you this. Did they get those as the top 3 quarterbacks?
No.
Now, they're obviously the top 3 right here in the odds, but you would say no. And of those 3, who would you take out? And if you had to replace the quarterback, who would you go with?
Oh, as far as like
With a
the
quarterback,
top,
with
as,
the top
as
3 quarterbacks in your book.
as far as top 3 quarterbacks in college football next year, my way too early pick, number 1 would be Garrett Nussmeier.
Okay.
Number 2, that that's hard. I think it's Garrett Nussmeier and then everybody else. I don't think there is a close second with Garrett Nussmeier. I think he is really freaking talented, and he'll be the first
I
quarterback
would
taken.
put I really do I like Nussmeier. I like Drew Aller,
I like Drew Aller too,
and I really love Aller, man.
but I think like
Like,
Aller and K Klubnik, they as far as like talent wise, I think they're neck and neck.
yeah.
Arch Manning to be number 1 is like crazy wild. Like I'd put Garrett Nussmeier number 1. I'd
You
put
know
Cade.
why he's
I
number
would put.
1. You know why he's number 1 is that last name. That's
I
it.
would put.
And
I
I'm
would
not trying
put.
to throw yeah.
I would put Cade 2,
Okay.
and I'd put Drew 3. I'd put Arch 4.
I could see that. Um, for some reason, like, I keep coming back to Sellers in my top 3 quarterbacks. Like, I got
No,
Klubnik and Aller.
no. Lenora Sellers is. I can make a case.
Come on.
Come on, dude. I'm disagreeing with you. Lenora
Would you put him
Sellers.
top 5? Would you put him top
No,
5 maybe?
no,
No? You
no,
wouldn't?
no.
We're fighting, let's go. You
Arch
wouldn't?
Manning. Arch Manning. Arch Manning, Garrett Nussmeier, Kay Klubnik, Drew Aller, John Mateer, Sam Lovett. There's a case that Gunnar Stockton will probably end up being better than him. Like I'm still not sold on Lenore Sellers. Go down a little bit. Let me see who else is in these
So
odds.
disappointing. So disappointing.
Carson Beck is better. Um, there is also a case that Dylan Raiola is better. Marcel Reed is better. Marcel Reed is better than Lenore Sellers. Marcel Reed is way better. Get out of here with that mess. Marcel Reed's better, bro. Than Lenore Sellers? Come on, bro.
Like hell he is.
And he is. He's on fire for sure.
And he's not bad. Look, I'm not trying to diss anybody. I'm just trying to say here, Lenora Sellers has something in him.
Yeah, turnover bug.
Whatever.
I mean, I don't know. Lenora Sellers to me, yes, he is your look. He is your. He's like the same thing as DJ Lagway. If Lenora Sellers is that good, then DJ Lagway is winning the Heisman because they're like one and the same. They run around with their heads cut off, and no, I just DJ Lagway is better than Lenora Sellers too. By the way, but both of them are way too high on this list. I would put them probably on the other side of the list somewhere. There could be, I don't know. We don't know that much from Ty Simpson, but Ty Simpson could end up being better than Lenora Sellers.
I'm going to tell you right now, looking at Lenora Sellers in his last 5 games, in 4 out of the last 5 games, number one, he won 4 of the last 5, and I'm counting the Citrus Bowl he played in. which, by the way, even though they only scored 17 points, had a 70% completion percentage in that game. He had 70 against Mizzou, 70 against Vandy. I'll exclude a team like Wofford. Clemson, they beat at Clemson. Didn't throw any touchdowns, but still, I mean, come on, man. He's got potential. He could start up this year. He might not be a now, I know we're kind of talking preseason, but getting into the season, we get going. Come on, man. He's going to be talked about.
Okay. I'm going to just say this. South Carolina schedule right now. They start out with Virginia Tech. I'll give them the win there, which that's not even a guaranteed win, but I will give it to them. It's a neutral site in Atlanta, Georgia. It's the Chick-fil-A, the Aflac kickoff game. Sorry. They got South Carolina State. They'll win that. They'll beat Vanderbilt, so they'll start 3-0. At Missouri, that's a loss. They're losing to Missouri.
Yeah, right.
They'll probably beat Kentucky again because at home they're going to lose at LSU. They're losing that game 100%.
I know.
Oklahoma, I will say that's a toss-up game. That's a 50-50 game. Whoever comes prepared, that is a noon game. So I will go ahead and say that Oklahoma beats South Carolina because it is a noon game. If that had been like a 3:30 or a night game, I would give it to South Carolina. South Carolina's tough to beat at Williams-Brice, by the way. But yeah, I'll give Oklahoma the win there. I'm really high on Oklahoma. Alabama's going to beat the tar out of them. Don't care if it's at Williams-Brice. So they're going to be on a 3-game
Hold
losing
on.
streak.
I would love to say you're right about that, but even at home last year, don't forget the Gamecocks were a 2-point try away from even tying it and possibly coming.
Dude, come on, bro.
Come on. I'll give them credit here. I will give them credit.
So they
It
got
shouldn't have been like that. It shouldn't have been like that, but that's the way that it was. I
1,
hope you're
2,
right.
3, 4, 5. They got a 5-game streak. Well, number one, they got a 4-game streak. LSU, Oklahoma, Bama, Ole Miss. 2 on the road, 2 at home. So let's just say they win one on the road and win one at home, and they're going to lose the other 2. Let's just play statistics. They're going to lose at least 2 of them games, guaranteed. Let's go at Texas A&M and then Clemson to end the season. They're going to win one and lose one. So they're already at 3 losses in my book right there. And then you look at the first 1, 2, 3, 4, the first 5 games. You lose at least one of those. South Carolina at best is going 9-3. At worst is 7-5. So if I had to make a prediction right now, South Carolina's going 8-4. Not sure the Heisman winning quarterback is going 8-4 this year.
What was Colorado's record last year, sir? And Travis Hunter won the Heisman. Didn't they go like 7-5?
No, sir.
What'd they go?
Huh?
They go 9-3?
They went 9-3.
Okay.
They didn't go 8.
South Carolina. You got South Carolina 8-4.
Yep.
You don't even think he'd be considered a finalist?
Nope.
Come on.
This is going to be 4 finalists. Jeremiah Smith.
We don't know. We don't know who it all is going to be.
It's going to be Jeremiah Smith, Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, and Drew Aller.
Oh.
I even right when I
Did you
could
see? Is it a toss-up, you think, between Williams and Aller? Could we
Sure.
see two? What could we see two wide receiver finalists?
Well, they'll probably put
And when's the last?
they'll probably put a defensive guy up there.
I don't know who you would take on defense though. That's the thing. I mean, like, who's the Travis Hunter? I'm not talking about a guy that plays both ways. I'm just talking like who? Come on, like we're so loaded at quarterback and everything. Like, who would you get defensively out there?
Caleb Downs.
Yeah, Caleb Downs. After that, I mean,
And after that, I don't see any Heisman worthy, but Caleb Downs.
right.
I'm just saying, bro. Also, Travis Hunter was a generational talent playing both ways. And without him, they don't even go 9-3. They probably miss a bowl game.
You're probably right.
So, anyways, you got anything else to say about this before we move on?
Just move on. Speaking of Lenora Sellers, you want to lead us into our next topic?
For sure. Lenora Sellers turned down $8 million. Yes, I said it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's NIL offer elsewhere to remain at South Carolina, father says. I'm getting this story from CBS Sports. Lenore Sellers established himself as one of the quarterbacks to watch in 2025, according to CBS, not according to Mayhem Matthew. The 2024 SEC Freshman of the Year threw for 2,534 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. And added 674 yards and 7 more touchdowns on the ground as the South Carolina Gamecocks put together a 9-4 campaign, the most successful season of the Shane Beamer era. Sellers became just the third freshman in FBS history to throw for 2,500 yards and rush for 500 yards, joining Johnny Manziel and Jalen Hurts. Naturally, he caught the attention of college football world and the interest of programs as well. In fact, Sellers' father told The Athletic that his son fetched an NIL offer from an interested team worth $8 million for 2 years. Quote, he was offered all kinds of crazy numbers. I told him he could stay. I'm going to stay or I'm going to go. By my 2 cents, it was to get into college on a scholarship, play ball, get our degree, and go about our business. This NIL deal came later. We didn't come here to make money. We came here to get our education, play ball, and with schools calling, we're not going to jump ship just because they're offering more than what we're getting. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He also said, quote, you're 19. You don't need $8 million. You're in a great spot. There were several talks, but it never really crossed his mind to leave. It's a challenge with kids offering younger guys that kind of money. Who's going to say no to $8 million for 2 years? They're going to be swayed if you don't have the right people in your corner. Also, Beamer told The Athletic that he wasn't too worried about his quarterback leaving in this new era of college football because he believes Sellers realized he had a good situation in Columbia on and off the field. He said, quote, I've been playing football all my life for free, Sellers said. I've built relationships here. My family's here. My brother's here. There's no reason for me to go someplace else and start over. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I credit him for staying. I do. Part of me is also like, I mean, it's just not the norm to turn down money like that, is it? I mean, you think about it, man. Like 9 times out of 10 today, if you get that offer to transfer, I don't care how good you are at your school or anything, it takes a lot of courage and boldness to say, "Nah, I'm good. I'm going to stay put and remain faithful to my team." What do you think?
Well, also, there has been cases where football players take the money and they end up getting lost in the sauce and not being the player that they once was. So you got to really think about it. Yeah, $8 million sounds good, but if you got a good thing working, then in in a couple years you're going to be making way more than $8 million. It's Lenora Sellers probably second round draft pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's going to be making more than $8 million. So I say that he made a good decision, and also Ballard. And on one hand, you say that you shouldn't be chasing the bag. On another hand, you say, well, you should chase the bag. Like whenever see, look, this is why the internet is always undefeated because they talk out of both sides of their mouths. On one hand, you know, if Lenora Sellers would have took the $8 million, then he would have been a traitor. Everybody would have hated him. Yeah, he needs to get out of town. He won't. He wasn't that good anyways. Yada yada yada. Blah blah blah. On the other hand, if he stays, bro, why did you say that was so stupid? Why did you stay? Bro, come on, bro. You should have took the money, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, if he would have went and took the money, you would have said, "What has college football turned into now? College football is just NIL hungry. That's all they care about is money, money, money." And then on the other hand, bro, why are you leaving money on the table? Take the money. Like, bro, are we ever going to be happy? You
No,
you can't have your cake and eat it too.
that's true.
So I just feel like Lenora Sellers turning down $8 million probably was a good idea because not all money is good money.
That's fair.
So imagine he took the $8 million and somewhere in that contract was some type of bad negotiations and he got himself into a very deep legal issue, right?
Right.
Because a few years ago I heard Florida. There was a Florida player.
You there?
Yeah, there's remember a couple years ago, Florida player had to was it defensive tackle uh Dexter, Javon Dexter. Um he
I feel like I've heard of this, but I'm not gonna say anything because I don't know. But that
well
name sounds familiar.
well here it is, the NIL contract that Chicago Bears rookie Javon Dexter signed with a speculative investment capital company while playing at the University of Florida in 2022 violated a state NIL law in place at the time. The Florida state legislature who sponsored the bill told ESPN on Tuesday. Um, Dexter signed a 4-year, $6.72 million contracts with the Bears, meaning he would owe BLA about $1 million over the lifetime of that deal. Um, so the deals were supposed to be that an athlete could participate in the free market whenever they graduate, whether they go on to play professionally or not. Any future contracts were null and void. In other words, we didn't want someone having access to someone's future without proper guidance or proper representation. Um, so I'm not sure if he had to like pay back or something. I don't think I'm not sure if he had to like pay back or money or something like that, but um, something happened with the NIL deal, right?
Right.
Um, remember the Jaden Rashada?
Yeah.
He was promised $10 million or whatever, and you know, then he ended up suing Florida and Billy Napier and all that stuff. But not all good. Not all money is good money, right? I mean, so hey, give credit to Lenore Sellers. Maybe he saw something that wasn't there, or maybe he saw the bull jive that they were trying to give him, and he said he likes it at South Carolina and he wants to ride with South Carolina, and he has a lot of hype this year, and I guess they feel like that they have a good team this year. A lot of people do. So yeah, good. I say good job, Lenore Sellers. But anywho, let's move. Speaking of players, Michigan adds depth with quarterback Jake Garcia. So this is from ESPN. Michigan has added well-traveled quarterback transfer Jake Garcia, former top 25 recruit who has spent time at 3 other programs as he tries to build depth around decorated freshman Bryce Underwood. Garcia had 1,426 passing yards with 8 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Not that good last season for East Carolina, where he received his most playing time at the FBS level. So, from my understanding, this guy is only going to Michigan for depth because it says Michigan was seeking more depth behind Underwood, the nation's #1 recruit who received the most snaps during spring practice. Fresno State transfer Mikey Keene sat out of the spring because of injury. Davis Warren, who opened the season as Michigan starter but is coming off an ACL injury. And also, Jaden Davis is incoming freshman Chase Herbstreit, son of ESPN analyst Kirk Herbstreit. So, got a lot of quarterbacks at Michigan, but Jake Garcia adds even more depth to that because there are some injured players. So, this is literally just depth. That's all it is. He probably won't see one snap, but it is worthy to talk about because Um, I want to ask you, Ballard, do you believe the hype around Bryce Underwood? That's the main question I wanted to talk about, and also give the news about Jake Garcia.
Um, I mean, I I believe that Bryce Underwood is going to be great, but I don't think he's going to be as good as Michigan fans want him to be. Um, but I think this does make it more intriguing. I think Jake Garcia, um, coming in from East Carolina, I think he's gonna be good enough to compete. I think he's good enough to possibly win the job, but uh, we'll see. You know, Davis Warren is trying to recover from his injury. Mikey Keene has a shoulder injury. So right now it becomes Garcia versus Bryce Underwood. So we'll see what it holds. But I would not be surprised between those 2 quarterbacks if Garcia gets it over Bryce.
I would, just for the mere fact that from everything that I'm seeing, Bryce Underwood is getting paid a whole lot of money, and a lot of multimillionaires and billionaires are paying for him to play football, and they are not going to pay him to play football if he's sitting on the bench. So, kind of makes the head coach have to put him as starter. But I just wanted to know, like, is he overrated so far? I mean, I know we haven't seen him play a snap, but like, I know you and me both have reacted to his tape and everything like that. And from what you've seen, like, do you think it'll translate to the next level?
I th- I think it can, and I think it will. But if I'm being honest, I don't know if it'll be at Michigan. I would not be surprised if he ends up transferring again, and or I say again, he was committed to LSU, but then he flipped to Michigan. Is that right?
Yep.
And signed with them. So he comes in year one. It would not surprise me if something were to happen with Bryce Underwood and he transferred. But I think he's really great. And no matter where he's going to go, as long as he's got the weapons around him, and obviously, because I mean, a quarterback's nothing without his weapons. Um, I think he can be elite. I
I agree
also
with
don't
that.
think this. I also don't think this turns into for Bryce Underwood. I don't think it goes down the Rashada path.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, he is elite, or from what we've seen in high school, he's elite. I think
Yeah,
he might struggle early on, but I think he'll find his footing, and then when we're talking about the 2026 season, we're going to be talking about him possibly being possible Heisman favorite for 2026, but 2025, I think he'll struggle a little bit early on, and he'll find his footing, and he'll be by the end of the year. By the end of the year, he will for sure be one of the top quarterbacks. And he'll have a lot of hype going into 2026 season. That's my prediction. But you want to lead us into our last topic of the day, or no? We got two more. Sorry, you want to lead us
yeah. Let's.
into
We got
the
two more.
next one? Yeah, two more. Sorry about that. But while you're pulling that up, let's read some comments. Um, you know, Coach Smoot, he says, "Yo, brother, thanks for coming through, bud." Talking to Ballard. Rec Talk. He came in. What's up, Rec Talk? Yoda T, how you doing? He says Travis Hunter was special. Yes, he was.
Yep.
Um,
I'm
and
ready
and,
for the next segment if after
and
you
then
the
and then he also Yoda T was also talking about he breezed through UGA. He was talking about um quarterback Rashada, Jaden Rashada. And yeah, I don't know why. I mean, that guy, I don't know why he keeps on transferring. I mean, I don't know why. Arizona State, Arizona State, and then
Florida.
Florida,
Well, he started
Georgia,
at Florida.
yeah, um, Georgia. Now he's I don't even know where he's at. I don't
I
is he
don't
even
care to know.
is he even he's not even a power four quarterback. I think he went like is he even in the group? Is he? I think he might be a group of five quarterback now. I don't know, but yeah,
I don't know. Don't
Jaden,
care honestly
Jaden,
at this point.
Jaden. I feel like Jaden Rashada really messed himself up, but
I think so.
in a few years from now, we will be talking about the downfall of that guy. But anyways, go ahead with the next segment.
We all love college football for history, heroics, passion and pageantry. Let's get into this mayhem. Let's react to college football's top 10 unbreakable records. This is from Chris Lowe of ESPN, put out 2 days ago. I have not actually looked into this article. I went ahead and shared it on Facebook the other day, but I haven't, only because I love sharing sports stuff, but I haven't really looked too far into what it has. But are you ready to dive into it?
Let's do it. We
All
got
right.
nine people in here. Shout out to the chat.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Love y'all. Appreciate you. The love and support. All right. College football's top 10 most unbreakable records. I say top 10. It's really just 10, not so much a top 10. Let's see what we're getting into. I'm going to skip all the introduction here, but Oklahoma's 47 game winning streak. When surveying the most dominant college football machines in history, the conversation begins and ends with Bud Wilkinson led Oklahoma teams of the 1950s. The Sooners bulldozed their way to 47 consecutive wins, a streak that began in 1953 and lasted most of 5 seasons, producing back-to-back championships in 55 and 56. Oklahoma held its opponents to single digits in 35 of the 47 wins and recorded 22 shutouts. Unranked Notre Dame, a 19-point underdog, ended the streak on November 16, 1957, with a 7-0 victory in Norman. The Irish scored the winning touchdown inside the final 4 minutes on a 4th and goal play from the 3-yard line. They then intercepted a pass in their own end zone in the final seconds to seal the upset, leaving the home crowd stunned. Many of the fans sat in the stands for nearly 30 minutes trying to process the unthinkable in OU loss. Skip this part here. Other than it says nearly 70 years later, nobody has come close to that streak. With the college football playoff era upon us, teams having to play as many as 4 postseason games to win the national title, not to mention conference championship games, it's difficult to imagine a team going what would amount to 3 straight seasons unscathed. This is a record teams will be chasing for a long time, maybe forever.
Okay, hold
That's an
on.
impressive record. I'm ready to hand it over to you. And what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. So
Okay.
the paragraph that you just read, if you go back to the one before that, can you read the last? No, go down.
This one?
The nearly 70 years later.
Oh yeah.
All right, can you read the last sentence in that?
Son of a. The Bulldogs won 29 in a row during the run in back-to-back national championships in 21 and 22.
Okay, I just wanted you to hear that. I wanted to hear that.
What do you think about this record, though? What do you think about this record?
Well, of course, it's an unbelievable record. I mean, recently, like you just read, we saw the Bulldogs won 29, and like people were getting tired of it. I mean, I wasn't alive to see Oklahoma win all 47 in a row like that. So, yeah, man, that is. I can only imagine what college football looked like. That was like must have been really crazy to see that. Yeah, I love it. And you know, I would have loved to see a record like that happen in front of my eyes. So I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of people hated Oklahoma back in them days. I mean, when you see, dynasties like, Nick Saban in Alabama win so many championships and like that, but they've never even had a record like that. Just imagine like them doing something like that. The Patriots and NFL, I know they're not college football, but still, like, they didn't even go on like a 47 win streak. Like, so yeah, just imagine for years Oklahoma winning everything. You know what I mean? That would totally be wild and crazy. But yeah, I love it. Go to the next one.
Barry Sanders' magical season is number 2. One of the most electrifying players in the history of the sport. Barry Sanders put up dizzying numbers in 1988, his junior season at Oklahoma State. Yes, his single season record, NCAA record of 2,628 rushing yards was challenged last season by Boise State's Ashton Jeanty. I remember them talking about that. 2,601 yards. Dude, if he just got 28 more yards, he would have broke it. There's a catch. Sanders' total came in just 11 games, while Jeanty played in 14. What's more, bowl statistics didn't count when Sanders was playing, and he had an additional 222 yards against Wyoming in the Holiday Bowl. So if those yards are added, his total jumps to 2850. What seems untouchable is Sanders' NCAA record of 238.9 rushing yards per game. Holy crap. For perspective, Jeanty averaged 185.8 yards last season. In fact, only 2 other running backs in major college football history have averaged 200 yards, rushing yards per game in a season. USC's Marcus Allen in 1981 to 12.9, and Cornell's Ed Marino 209, or Marinaro 209 in 1971. Sanders had 4 300-yard games in 1988, counting the bowl, and rushed for 43 touchdowns. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. Also, um, Marcus Allen, he is amazing as well. Love him. He's the only one to win a Super Bowl championship, a Super Bowl MVP, um, a Heisman Trophy, and and I'm pretty sure didn't he win the national champion? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he won the national championship too.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the only one to win all 4 of them. Only player ever to be able to do that. So, um, but talking about the record, Barry Sanders, dude, go watch his highlights. He is a stud, dude, and he wasn't playing in the group of 5 like old buddy Jeanty was. Now, look, I'm not throwing any shade or anything like that. That's still an impressive record to get to that Ashton Jeanty had, but Barry Sanders did it with only 11 games, and he was playing in one of the Power 5 conferences with Oklahoma State. So, dude was a stud.
For sure. Yeah, I
Let's go
agree.
to let's go to the next one.
Florida State's top 5 finishes. For all the late Bobby Bowden accomplished during his Hall of Fame career, his remarkable consistency could be the most impressive thing. His Florida State teams finished in the top 5 of every AP poll from 1987 to 2000, an amazing run no matter the era. Bowden finished his legendary 34-year career at FSU with 2 national championships and could have won a few more had it not been for those dreaded missed field goals against Miami. And more importantly, he put Florida State football on the map. Think about it, 14 straight top 5 finishes. Pete Carroll had some dominant teams at USC, and the Trojans' longest streak was 7 straight top 5 finishes from 02 to 08. The same is true for Oklahoma under Wilkinson, 1952 to 58. And while Alabama won 6 national titles under Nick Saban, his longest run of top 5 seasons was 5 in a row from 14 to 18. Um, Bowden was a beast. May he rest in peace. I know he passed away a couple years ago. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, even Saban was not able to break it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Florida State, that's the only time they were really good is under him. And the time they had Jimbo Fisher, but Jimbo Fisher used all of Bobby Bowden's players. So, yeah, I mean, uh, that's a great accomplishment by Bobby Bowden and what he was able to do for Florida State. And, uh, now because of that success, they're recognized as a big brand in college football.
Absolutely. Next one is Oklahoma's Wishbone Onslaught. I don't know if I want to read all of these, honestly.
We can get to the next one.
Well, yeah. How about this? I will scroll through and read the headlines, and if you want to talk about one, just point it out to me. Throwing it to the wrong team, that has to do with interceptions. I mean, John Reeves of Florida threw a record 9 in one game on 66 passing attempts in a 38-12 loss in Auburn, 1969. Derek Thomas sack parade from Alabama. I might want to read this one. You want to get into it?
Yeah, I always like. Well, the other one was pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
I always like seeing Florida throwing it to the wrong team. That's always funny to hear about and see it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we could do Derek Thomas sack parade.
Yeah. Let's see. Um, so he died at a young age at 33 following a car accident. That was before I was born, like the year before. Um, Generational pass rusher, once had 7 sacks in an NFL game, which is still a record. As a senior linebacker at Alabama in 1988, Thomas gobbled up opposing quarterbacks at an astonishing rate, finishing with 27 sacks, 39 tackles for loss, on his way to earning the SEC Defensive Player of the Year honors. Thomas was unblockable that season, but you won't find his eye-popping numbers in the NCAA record book. At the time, sacks were not an official NCAA statistic, meaning Arizona State's Terrell Suggs has the official sack record with 24 and 02. While defenders play more games now, Thomas played 11 games in 1988. No FBS player has reached the 20 sack plateau in the past 20 years. Last season, the FBS sack leader was Marshall's Mike Green with 17. Thomas, who finished with 52 career sacks at Bama, played 11 seasons in the NFL, all with the Kansas City Chiefs. He died in 2000 at the age of 33 following a car accident. What you think?
Pretty impressive.
I mean, Georgia, let me ask you this. Georgia, with their recruiting on defense, you don't think they could ever break that?
Mm-mm. I mean, Georgia. I don't know why Georgia does this, but it seems like the first half of the season, like they can't get after any quarter. I mean, come on, like Georgia has always struggled getting to the quarterback, like especially a running quarterback, dude. Like you're a Bama fan, you should know that they
Yeah.
they couldn't catch. I'm drawing a blank. Y'all's quarterback from last year.
Bryce
Huh?
Milrow.
I mean,
Milrow.
did any defenders sack him? I don't think so. I mean, just if you have a elite quarterback that can run around and make a man miss, then you're going to have a really good day versus Georgia defenses. That's like the Georgia defense. It's like our weakness.
Kryptonite.
That's our kryptonite. And so anything else that you would have said about defense, I would have said, of course, I could see somebody breaking that record. But as far as sacks go, nah, you can forget about it.
Yeah. The hat trick for Antonio Perkins. Marcus
Now
Allen.
I want to talk about the Marcus Allen's amazing run. That's what I want to do.
All right. I'll let you get into it without reading, but I don't know. What do you know about it before we get into it?
I mean, I said this earlier. I didn't even know this was going to be on here, but like it says, Allen is the most accomplished football player ever. He is the only player to win a national title, Heisman Trophy, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, and NFL MVP. The only one to ever do that. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And he's a college football Hall of Famer and Pro Football Hall of Famer. Marcus Allen could be the greatest football player ever. Marcus Allen, I love learning. I love watching his highlights. I love learning about him. Every single time I see Marcus Allen, his name pop up, I'm thinking, man, that guy is so awesome.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I am a Marcus Allen Glazer. That's what I am. He played both sides, defensive back and fullback.
Right.
Even a guy like Travis Hunter, which is also an amazing talent, a generational talent as well. He didn't win a national title. I'm sure he could have went to a team that won a national title, but um, he still won't be able to break the most accomplished football player ever award because he didn't win. I mean, he won the Heisman Trophy. He didn't win a national championship. He still can win the Super Bowl championship, Super Bowl MVP, and NFL MVP. He could still do all that stuff, but he'll never be able to win a national championship because so he still won't be able to beat Marcus Allen's run. So, um, dude is a freaking monster and a beast. Like Marcus Allen back in the day, like if you would have watched him and then you watched Travis Hunter, you would say Marcus Allen is night and day better. You would be like, oh, we've already seen this before. Or, we've seen something better than this. You wouldn't be able to say that. I mean, just Marcus Allen is just so amazing.
Yeah.
Fullback and defensive back. Like play both sides.
Yeah. Let's see these last two. Patrick Mahomes wizardry. Um
Yeah, we could skip. I mean, we all know what
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes been able to do, and Nicholas Saban.
We don't. Yeah.
So you wanna get into the BSE? You want to cue the intro?
Oh yes. Yes. I need to double check something. Let's see. Oh, is this where we're gonna do the cooking beef thing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. 3, 2, 1. Huge.
So you want to lead us into this?
Yeah. So, Diego Pavia, or I joke and call him Pavia just for fun, is taking a stab. Well, let me say this, Mayhem. I am willing to admit that Ryan Williams, I think, hit the first dart. I really
I really believe that. And so I just okay, so what had happened was Ryan Williams took a shot and said, "We are going to kill an ant with a sledgehammer," to which Diego Pavia, and I need to pull up his reply necessarily. Here we go. So he was on a podcast called Bussin' with the Boys, right? And he was talking about how they're gonna win a championship. They have what it takes to win a championship and everything. Um, but um, so basically, Pavia put out some lyrics from a song, and it was where it said they acting like they tough but don't want no confrontation from Gucci Mane. Made it outro. So he had that in his background and screenshot of the lyrics, and he basically used those lyrics of the song to respond to Ryan Williams, right? And that was less than 24 hours after the interview, or at least the clip of the interview where Williams was with John Gruden. Um, and I guess somehow the game came up about losing to Vandy last year and how he felt about playing them again this year at home. And of course, Ryan Williams said, "We're killing an ant with a sledgehammer." So, what do you think about some of this so far? I mean, I could keep reading into it if you want, but um, obviously, we know about Vandy's historic game last year, the upset, the just everything, man. Like they had a really good year. Um, so yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. So last year, I'll kind of recap the game for those who didn't watch it. So Vandy was scoring. So Bama would score, Vandy would score, Bama would score, Vandy would score. Then Vandy started taking the lead. Then Bama would score, Vandy would score, Bama would score. And then it got in the halftime, and then Vandy would score, Bama would score. So they kind of like went back and forth for a while. And then so after halftime, I was thinking, okay, Bama's about to just roll over Vandy. Vandy's not going to have what it takes to finish the job. Even though I would love to see the upset, we're not going to see it. So then, midway through the third quarter, I'm like, okay, I thought it was going to be similar to what Alabama did versus was it USF or South Florida a few years ago with Nick Saban, where they were almost losing that game, and then all of a sudden y'all won like 42-14 or whatever it was.
what's this year?
Huh?
Past year. That was this past year with DeBoer, but yeah.
Well, didn't they struggle with Saban too? I remember.
Yeah, but they only won that like 17-3 on the road with Tyler Buckner at quarterback.
But I remember it was like going into the fourth quarter this past season then, and you thought maybe Bama was going to lose to South Florida, but then Bama just turned on the Jets, and y'all ended up blowing them out by like 21 points or more, right?
Yeah.
So I say all that to say that this particular game versus Vanderbilt last year, I thought was going to be the same deal. I thought y'all would get into the fourth quarter and just absolutely demolish Vandy. I thought maybe y'all would, turn on the brakes, turn on the gas, and all gas, no brakes, and it didn't happen. And that's what happens whenever you allow a lesser team or a lower team to stay in the game all the way into the end of the game. You let them, have a chance to win, and well, they did. So, I'm gonna be honest. As far as this beef goes, Come on, Ryan Williams. What are you doing? What are you doing, Ryan Williams? What are you doing? Listen,
He's 17. He don't know no better.
well, he's 18 now, but
I
look at
know.
me. Look at me, Ryan Williams. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, come on, bro. Ryan Williams is so much better than Pavia, Puvia, whatever, Pupia. Bro, it's not even close. Ryan Williams is on a different level. Yeah, I know. Pavia beat him. Yes. Ryan Williams was a true freshman as well. Ryan Williams can't do everything.
True.
But Pavia is still not near as good as what Ryan Williams is. I know they play two different positions, but come on, bro. As far as like pure talent at as a football player, Ryan Williams got it better. Pavia, I'm gonna be honest with you. Pavia is not that good. Yeah, he had a couple upsets, whatever. You know, football. A lot of people don't know this. College football or football in general is a momentum sport. So if you go into games with a lot of momentum and momentum's on your side the whole time, then yeah, your chances of winning is pretty high. That's why I told you earlier that had Alabama would have killed all that momentum in the fourth quarter and just ran over them and just scored and scored and scored and scored and you know had some turnovers and stopped the momentum from Vandy, Bama would have won that game. But
Yeah.
y'all played with y'all's food too much. And what ended up happening? Well, y'all got sick, y'all got food poisoning, and y'all lost. So I just feel like uh, y'all were just playing with y'all's food, and then you know the food became no good, and y'all got food poisoning, and y'all lost. So um, Tavia is Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield from Timu.
Golly. You ain't wrong.
I mean,
That's so bad, dude.
that's literally it. So, you know what I mean? I mean, what do you think about this?
I think they need to stop before somebody gets hurt on that field, man. Like, just play the game this year. Like, why? It's Vanderbilt. Like, I know they beat us last year, but come on, why?
Hey,
Why are we filled in this country with so
continue,
much division and hate?
continue talking real quick.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I mean, why? Why? But I mean, it's just like it's crazy. We Alabama and Vandy are playing October 4th at Saban Field, but I don't know, man.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah.
Um, I was just we might have a surprise soon. Just letting you know. But anyways, yeah, bro. Pavia needs to. Pavia, bro, is like Timu Johnny Manziel, Timu Baker Mayfield. Like he is trying so hard to stay relevant. After like, I think his like what his best game obviously was the Alabama game, but you know give credit to their head coach and that staff, Vanderbilt staff. Just dicing up Bama's defense and finding holes for them to get first downs and eventually get touchdowns. And keep the momentum going. And shout out to Pavia too for playing out of his mind in that game, and he really wanted it. He went out and got it. And one thing that Ballard always says, and it is the truth, and especially that game this past year. If you want to win, you'll go out and go get it. Ain't that what
Yeah.
you say, Ballard?
Yeah, I
You say
agree.
that all the time.
Yeah, I say that all the time. If they want it bad enough, anybody can win any game.
Yeah, and like just like you say all the time, if you really, really want it, you'll go out, you'll get it, and you'll win it.
Yeah.
And I feel like what Ballard always says came true that particular day. Pavia and company really wanted it. Clark Lee, shout out to the head coach there, had an amazing, an amazing time, amazing game that they set up. But Pavia had his 3 hours of fame, and he was on top of the world for that night. But after that, I mean, he turned into that night is whenever he turned into Timu Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel. That's what happened. And I had a lot of respect for him during that game. I was like, man, bro is winning. He's putting his life on the line. He's putting his game on the line, and he's going out and winning. And I really had a lot of respect for him. But then he went out and said something about "Thank you, Lord," and something about F something, or I don't know. He said something crazy, right?
Yeah.
I think he said like F Bama or something. I don't know. He said something crazy on the internet, on live TV, by the way. It was like, I think he said he dropped the F bomb. It was crazy and wild. And I just, after that, I was like, wait, is Pavia the person that I think he is? And then he goes on these podcasts talking about talking about Ryan Williams, and bro, you're losing by a minimum of at least 3 scores to Alabama this year. It's a fact. You're not recreating that magic again. You're just not. You lost way too much, anyways, and you're Vandy, and you lost way too much talent, and y'all really didn't have that much talent to begin with. But the talent that y'all did have, y'all lost it, right?
Yeah.
I think Alabama pick up a Vandy guy, a Vandy player this in the offseason this year? I thought I read something about that, but maybe not.
I don't think so.
But anyways, we got special guests.
Why?
We
Where did this-
have
Hmm,
hold on. We
who
got
is this?
special. We got a football player.
Oh, are you surprising me with this?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's do it, man. Who is this?
Hello, this Charles.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
So
Good,
this
good to
was
have you on.
my surprise to Ballard. Where I didn't tell him about this.
Is that why you titled it what you titled it?
Yeah, grab your popcorn.
All right.
So this is Charles Humphrey Jr. Introduce yourself.
I'm Charles Humphrey Jr. I'm a 3-star offensive line committed to Mississippi State.
No. So this is funny because I recently just took a position covering Mississippi State at the Voice of College Football on YouTube, dude. And I was actually looking into recruiting the other day, not on the air or anything yet, but just trying to get together for next week, and your name came up.
Yes, sir.
I just haven't really been able to watch film or anything, but yeah, that's awesome, man. I gotta ask you though, like, why Mississippi State, man? What stands out?
Just how together they are, and they've been recruiting me for a while, and just how down to earth they are, and the connection I got with all the coaching staff and the players.
That's awesome, man.
Also, was it a landslide? Was it a close one? Whenever you was making your decision, was it always going to be Mississippi State, or did you have some other colleges that you was looking at?
It was between Mississippi State and Virginia Tech, and like I said, it was just like I had a connection with Virginia Tech too, but it was just the longevity of my relationship with Mississippi State coaching staff, like the head coach, Coach Libby, and Coach Lowe.
And are those the one that recruited you the most?
Yes, sir.
For sure. Also, tell me about your experience with recruiting. Tell me about your recruiting experience and how did that go?
Well, it was great, actually. I've been dreaming to be one of the top football players ever since I was little. So when it started actually becoming true, and it became reality, it was just a dream come to life. So it was great.
What other schools did you get to visit and what was some cool experiences that you had on the recruiting trail?
Well, the only two schools I had official visits for was Virginia Tech and Mississippi State. But I also had like unofficial visits with Clemson, who else? Louisville and other schools. But I had offers from Alabama State, Arkansas State, Cincinnati, Jackson State, Liberty, Marshall, Memphis, Ole Miss, Oregon, Toledo, and UT Martin.
Yeah, so I mean, gosh, I was not prepared for this interview, but just thinking off the top of my head, like, what I always want to know is like, when it comes to the position of offensive tackle, like, or really any position, but I'm always curious, like, is there someone in the game of football that maybe you try to model yourself after when you play that position?
Trent Williams, that's my number one. That's my
Okay.
favorite player in the league, Trent Williams. Yeah, and then also finding out that Coach Lohope, the offensive line coach from Mississippi State, coached Trent Williams and got a good relationship for him. That's that's a big one.
Yeah, let me also ask what stands out, like, have you gotten to meet Jeff Lebby and gotten to know him as a person? And if so, talk to me about that. Like, just talk to me about the head ball coach down there, man.
Of course, I got to meet Coach Libby just other than football plenty of times. I've been to his house twice, and he's just a great guy, good family guy. Make sure all his players treated well and everything. He's just down to earth, like.
So
Awesome.
you go to Bearden High School out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Is that correct?
Uh, yes, sir.
So tell me about your high school head coach and what he means to you.
Coach Jones, he was a great coach. He's a great coach. Like his coaching, his passion for football is over the roof. So yeah, he's a great coach. I love Coach Jones.
And also, tell me about your teammates. Who was the closest to you on your team, and how just tell me about y'all's relationship.
Uh, really, almost the whole team got a relationship with everybody, but a couple of players that like I knew from 8th grade. Uh, uh, Damian Lavelle, he played wide receiver, and Jason Thompson, he played running back. I just got a good bond with them, with those two people. Yeah, that's what
I I always ask this question, because I love music. So, you're getting ready for a football game. What's your go to music? Right before a game.
it is. There'll probably be some rap, probably something to get me hyped right before the game, put me in a certain mentality.
Is there a specific artist?
No, not really. Any rap just to hype me up before the game. That's what I'm gonna listen.
All right, for sure. You know, I've had I've had some different answers, but uh, yeah, I get rap music a lot. Um, I also love rap music as well. I get really hype and love to you know I'm a Georgia fan. So like you know there's a guy that does Georgia rap music, and he gets me uh, really hyped for games as well. But also, another question: take us through, a whole entire day, like get the day of the game. It's a Friday morning. What you get for breakfast, and kind of take us through the whole day leading up into the Friday night lights.
Well, especially on a game day, I start off with breakfast with probably 3 eggs and probably some sausage links or something like that. Go to school hype for the game. Everybody talking about it, but like right before the game, uh, I warm up, stretch, get a little prayer in, put on the pad, suit up, listen to my music, and get ready for the game.
For sure. What got you into football to begin with?
I've been playing football ever since I was 5, so and I just always loved it. I don't know what it is about it. It's like my it's like this for me. You know, it gets me real calm. It's just like I can move freely and just move carefree on the field. Like it's a passion I have for football. It's good.
Awesome. Yeah, Charles, again, it's great to have you on here, man. Talk to me about like is faith a big part of your life? And if so, just kind of talk to me about that. Just maybe some of your testimony and some of your background.
You said faith.
Yes.
Uh, well, I'm a firm believer in God. I pray. I got baptized right before I moved to Knoxville. So, God is no other man like God. God is who He is, and I pray that He watch over me and my family every day. It's really it. It's just there's no words to describe God for real. It's just I'm a firm believer in God. I don't know about no one else, but I make sure I believe in God and I know who He is.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like just to kind of reiterate I think I had already asked, but again, you had other interests. and had some offers, but again, like Mississippi State stood out. If it wasn't Mississippi State, what school would be out there on your radar? Because I noticed you had some offers from even teams like Ole Miss in the state of Mississippi. You had Oregon on the radar. You had teams in the group of 5 like Liberty or Marshall, which are really good teams. If it wasn't for Mississippi State, where would you be heading possibly?
Probably Virginia Tech. Yeah, that was my number 2. So if not Mississippi State, Virginia Tech.
Awesome. Mayhem, I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah. Whenever what was your what keeps you motivated? Whenever you get you know whenever you get discouraged, what keeps you motivated to keep on playing and to keep on with that drive that you have?
Uh,
What motivates you?
my family, especially my parents, they keep me motivated.
And how have they played the role and what do they mean to you?
They mean a lot. But them pushing me every day means a lot. Means a lot to me. Even the stuff I don't be wanting to do sometimes, they still push me because it's no. If I want to be one of the best players in the NFL, they gonna push me to be one of the best players in the NFL. Even if I didn't want to play football, whatever I did, they gonna push me. So I just love that they there for me on that.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
you've been in high school for a few years now. I would assume you've been playing every single year.
Yes. I missed my 10th grade year.
10th grade year. Okay. But I would assume you've had quite a few really good moments on the field. Talk to me about the moment on the field, maybe a particular play. And I ask this because I love to get offensive linemen to get their perspective on just how big of a role it is on the field. But talk to me about maybe that standout moment for you where you knew that's what you wanted to play, was to help protect quarterbacks and really go up and maybe pancake some guys on defense or something.
Well, if I'm being honest, keep growing up, I always wanted to play on the defensive side of the ball. But
Okay.
one play that just really stood out to me that like made me like, yeah, I'm gonna take O line serious. That's where I wanna play. It's my 9th grade year when I made a block. I made actually a good block, lead block, blocking for my running back, and it got to a touchdown. I think I blocked the last person we had to get past, and right then and there, I knew that that's what I wanted to play.
Nice.
Now, we know that you're committed to Mississippi State. The SEC is where the best play, and you know, uh, tell me about the challenges that you might have playing in the SEC. Tell me about what you believe that you can bring to the SEC, and did that play a role in your recruitment? Um, you know that you want to play where the best play.
Uh, Now as far as the challenges, me knowing me, if I push myself to the highest standard, it's not gonna be no challenges, and that's what I plan on doing. Being probably one of the best offensive linemen to ever play in the SEC. And what I'm gonna bring to the SEC is my competitiveness and willing willing to drive and not give up. Uh, yeah.
For sure. Tell me some of your strengths that you have.
Uh, my strengths I have. Okay, my pros and my probably my pass pro. I say my pass pro is probably one of my strengths, and my quickness on my feet. Being how big I am, You know, some people might say that offensive linemen really can't move, but I guess you can say that for an offensive lineman, I can move pretty fast.
I gotta ask you real quick, with the new era of college football, with the portal and NIL and everything going on there, how do you view it? Is that something that you look into a little bit, especially with the NIL? Like, just talk to me about that. Like, do you think we're in a good era, and do you think it's working out? And ultimately, how does it impact you and going into college?
I mean, it don't really impact me as much because I plan on staying at the same college all the way until I make it to the NFL. I feel like if you performing well enough and you got a really good relationship with your coaches, it shouldn't be no reason for you to transfer because if if it's a money thing, I mean, if you perform it higher than their expectations for you, they gonna give you the money because they gonna want you to stay at their school. So
Yeah, for sure. We just talked about Lenora Sellers, quarterback of South Carolina, turned down 8 millions. Not one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 M's should have been in his bank account, but he turned it down to stay with South Carolina. You know, tell me your thoughts on that and how you feel about that.
say that again, coach.
I said Lenora Sellers turned down not one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 M's to be in the transfer portal, but he decided to stay with South Carolina and be their quarterback. Tell me your thoughts on that, and yeah, just tell me your thoughts on that.
I mean, I think he made the best choice that was for him because just because they give you that much money doesn't mean it's gonna be the right place for you. So I feel like he was comfortable where he was at and had, like I said, a good relationship with the coaches, and he was performing well. So he stayed where he was at. It was no problem for him to transfer. It was no reason for him to transfer.
Do you think that will inspire up and coming athletes in the future? And do you think that'll help um, you know, players from transferring all the time? Do you think that'll inspire people, players to make the right decision and stay off, all 4 years or all 3 years of their collegiate career?
I mean, not everybody gonna have the same mindset, but I feel like it will impact some players to like just open their eyes up and see that it's not all about the money. But some people it's probably just business and whatever they need to do to get as much money as they possibly want. I mean, you heard me, coach.
But I didn't hear the last part.
Uh, I said, I mean, not everybody have the same mindset as he does, or but it might do impact some players just to open their eyes up and see it's not all about the money.
For sure. You got any last questions, Ballard?
Um, Not that I can think of, ma'am. Dude, like I said, I didn't know Mayhem was bringing you on. I literally was talking, or I literally was trying to do some research and stuff for Mississippi State Live at the Voice of College Football, and trying to get some stuff ready for Monday. And like, you were one of the key guys on the list, and it's just really great to get some insight, man. I think this is great, and I really don't have anything else. Love and appreciate you for coming on, man, and I wish you the best going forward. And if there's anything, like, hit me up on Twitter or something at Ballard Sports. Just you ever want to come on the show, and if anything changes, just let us know.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank y'all for having me on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, man.
I wanted to, have you on as a special guest surprise for the show, and I think it's awesome that I finally got to surprise Ballard with such an amazing talent like yourself, and I wish you nothing but the best. And although you're going to be playing for the wrong Bulldogs, I will be cheering for you and wish nothing but the best for you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Oh, you have a good night. Well, I guess he's gone. Dude, you set that up. When did you set this up?
I've been trying to get in contact with him pretty much the whole show so far, and
He finally answered.
yeah, and he came on. He asked me when, and I said, well, I sent him the link, and I said, come on the show, and
Yeah.
he came through, and big shout out to Mr. Charles there. You
That's
know,
awesome.
Charles Humphrey Jr. out of Bearden High School, Knoxville, Tennessee, class of 2026. Offensive tackle, 6'7", 291 pounds. Love to see it. Love to see it. Go check out his huddle. He's an amazing talent, elite talent. He's going to be playing in the SEC, Mississippi State, where he's in the SEC, and that's where the elite players play. I wanted to save that for last. So, with that being said, I think we're going to call it a day. Call it a night. Call it a morning. Whenever you're watching this. So if you like this content, please smash a thumbs up. And if you really like this content, hit the subscribe button.
Love y'all. Jesus loves you too. From his family.
Was out on the field pretty much the whole entire first half.
Got a lot of great games. I'm highlighting 2 SEC games.